Hey guys, it's Lauren back for another weekly seedling update. Today is Friday, February 21st. This is one of the flower trays that had the really old aster and straw flower seeds on it. So not too much action, but we got a lot of the dianthus and actually some spotty germination on the snapdragons, but the ones that are doing well are doing well. You can kind of see. So snapdragons are, I don't know what the word is, but they lean towards sunlight and they also go against gravity. So if there's sun, they will, you can see that they're leaning hard here, but that's an easy fix. Once they get outside, the dianthus, everybody's putting on, I just sprayed to try and give these guys a chance that are kind of popping through down there. I misted this tray. But putting on second and third sets of leaves everywhere. They look good. So today, I believe, is one of the last chilly days we're supposed to have. I think the high for today is somewhere between 35 and 40. We've been in a high of maybe 32 for the last 3 days. So I've waited to set these guys outside. But this weekend, the weather is supposed to really kind of get back to our normal. I think, tomorrow or Sunday is supposed to be almost 50, and then Monday and Tuesday they're calling for almost 60. So my plan is to start getting these guys out to harden off for the next 2 weeks so I can get them in the ground. Hopefully the very beginning of March. This is probably one of the better looking trays that we have. This is the status. Oh no, it's not. It's yarrow. This is yarrow on this side. These two cubes. These are the status. Looking good. And we have the Crespidia. And the daisies, which are really getting a little personal over here with these Crespidia. Yeah, it's time to get these guys outside and get them hardening off. The snapdragons look fantastic. They're like the perfect size to want to get outside. So now that they're bigger, I can kind of show you. We talked about how they kind of give away the color of their bloom based on the beneath of their leaves. So you can see that this guy is a very light color, almost green underneath. And this guy almost has like a purple middle, and his underleaf is very purple. This is another very purple one. See, this one almost looks a little like orangey. You can see that bottom is a much lighter color. So it's very interesting. This is that Bizarre series, so I'm not sure how they just look green underneath. And we have those two little echinacea decided to show up, and then the snapdragon that showed up over here. On this side, oh, this is that calendula that we have. Yeah, these guys need to get outside. These are all pretty tolerant down to, I mean, I won't cover them unless it's going to get below 15 degrees. But everyone's chugging along. It looks good. Just put some water in these trays. So on the left here, we have the Rocket Series Snapdragons. Had some really good germination. I think double seeded a lot of these, which will be fine when I plant them out. They can be doubled. What else do we have in here? The Globe Thistle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have 3 of the Nigella. Oh yeah, and then that last little row of the Snapdragons over here. And my other tray is my little herb tray. So those floret seeds never came up over here. So I'm gonna, still a little too early, but probably in 2 to 3 weeks, I will start experimenting more with some of these. Probably need to get these guys thinned out and separated. We have the oregano right here. This first little row looks good. You can smell this time. It smells really good. And the marjoram, kind of a little bit bigger leaves. You can see the difference between that and the thyme. And then the 2 little lettuces that did come up on this side. Need to get those probably separated because they're going to start wanting to get big. Otherwise, this little tray looks pretty good. These seeds were all started on the 1st. This is the leeks and the shallots. As you can see, they have recovered nicely from their haircut, and they look like they could actually get another one. So we'll probably do that after this video. But they're looking fantastic. So that's very pleasing. You can see they're really starting to like size up down here. My goal to get these guys out, a pencil thickness would be the best, but I don't know, they're looking pretty good. And leeks, when you actually go to plant them out, you plant them pretty deep. Whatever is under the ground will be blanched from the soil, which means you have more usable leek. Right, let me grab the onion tray. Here are the onions. Again, we have the red onions on the left and the yellow onions on the right. And they're tall. You can see where the last haircut was here. And that's just a week of growth right there. So look at these trimmed up. They're also sizing up. There's about 2. I have 2 to a hole. I'll separate them out when I go out there. Some people like to multi-sow. If I have the space, I don't want to. I'm also going to try and plant carrots this year experimentally in between the onions. I've heard that they like, cohabitating. So we'll see how that goes. The brassica tray. These guys are getting really nice looking. These will be perfect size. Honestly, they'd probably be perfect size to go out now, but that's not happening. So we have the Brussels, the green cabbage. They're in there. 2 rows of that. Oh, can't forget about the dino kale. I really should separate these out. These guys are getting leggy, fighting for their lives in here against those cabbages. The purple cabbage, and then you can see the Chinese cabbage. What do we have here? Oh, the broccoli. The 3 rows of broccoli right here, and then the 2 rows at the end of the 2 different kinds of cauliflower. Yeah, they all look really good. All right, this is the overflow tray plus the Salanova lettuce, which is going completely insane. I need to separate these because they're gonna, how many rows is this? 4 rows, I think. Yeah, they are definitely going to be making each other small. We have the Ragged Jack kale in here, which looks really good. It's probably honestly my favorite. The little broccolis that are in the front here. Brussels sprouts, and the cauliflowers here on the end. But this tray overall still looks pretty good. Oh yeah, we have the Chinese cabbage in here too. I look forward to, oh, there's a yucky leaf. Gotta get that off. Making some kimchi. I also got some radishes that I am excited to make some kimchi with this year. My only complaint about regular kimchi is just it doesn't always hold that crunch, which is why I like to put carrots in it and stuff like that. So I'm excited about doing like a radish and a carrot kimchi all by itself. The next tray is the bunching onions, which I'm trying to not give a haircut to, but I might need to because they're touching the other trays on the bottom. But we have the red and the regular bunching onions. We have the lemongrass over here, which is starting to put on a little bit of size. This in the middle is fennel. I think there's 4 of them. Getting a little shaded by this parsley. Probably honestly can start taking little trimmings of these guys. Herbs thrive with being trimmed. Sends off more signals that they need to grow. Here is those artichokes we talked about. These guys need to get outside. If it wasn't as windy as it is today, they're like steady 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. They can definitely sustain the temperatures that are today in the 30s, almost 40. But I don't want to take them out in the wind and get beaten. But like I said, it's probably like 24, 48 hours, and everybody in these cool flowers, these cool plants, they're all going to be getting outside. This last tray is the dill. These guys definitely need a little bit of a trim. The dill is definitely not as cold tolerant as the like parsley, the onions, artichokes. So the basil here and the dill probably might stay inside a little bit longer, but they definitely need a trim because they're starting to get a little floppy. But overall, I feel like this tray of herbs looks pretty decent. This was my last flower tray started, which is why everyone's still a little small. Probably should have started these guys all a little bit sooner, especially the stock. I was doing a little bit more reading on stock. So you should expose them to some cooler temperatures. My room up here is not really warm. It kind of gets down into the high 50s, low 60s at night in this grow room. But you can see from what I was reading, these guys, how you can see it's like fused together. And then you can see like over here, this is like obviously not fused. Not fused. This is a fused leaf. That the ones that are not fused, like this guy, is supposed to give me a double bloom, versus this guy, which will be most likely, like this guy is going to give me a single bloom. I'm not culling any of these, so I would say it's probably, just glancing at it, a 50-50, where they're I think these are called cotyledon leaves. The first leaves, not the first true leaves, are fused together versus not. So if I were to cut these away for that kind of production, I would be down probably half of my flowers here. But it's just for myself, so I'm going to leave them. Working our way down, that tag is not in the right spot. This is parsley, and this is oregano. And then this is the chamomile and the sweet Annie in this tray. So everyone's looking good. Really good germination on the sweet Annie. The oregano still popping up. Parsley These guys were sown on 2/8, and they're really just having a bunch of birthdays. So, not surprised. But, I mean, you got lots of little oreganos, so I'm excited. Can never have too many herbs. We have the winged amoebium here on the right, and the feverfew on the left. That's good germination. This tray, actually these three, are pansies. Not sure what's going on in this middle tray. But this one is a different seed than these two. These two are like the King mix from Johnny's. And what is this one? It's a different one. Pansy King. I think it's an antique. I just can't find the tag. But I believe this is like an antique mix. Oh, my finger. An antique mix. I would call this fantastic germination for pansies. You can see that this guy is still coming. These two are coming. I don't see any activity in that cell, but in that cell. So out of the 20, I can't complain. But then over here, I don't know what is going on. I can like see the seed down in there. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll have to do some more research on these pansies. But I'll take what I got for the ones that are in here. And then down here at the end, the left here is Dusty Miller. And then the right is a garlic or Chinese chives. I think that they're all still just their original first leaf here. Everyone's just kind of getting up. Oh no, look, there's our very first second leaf. So the difference between traditional chives and the garlic chives is the garlic chives are actually a flat, almost like grass-like blade for their true leaves. So we should see that in this little guy here once they start setting off their leaves. But otherwise, you really can't tell the difference when there's still these tiny little sprouts, because onions all look the same with their first leaf. All right, let's grab the next tray. Do a speed update on this. You guys have been following along. This is like my little indoor lettuce patch, but these guys will probably get outside soon. As you can see, it must be getting warmer in here at some point, but the arugula, a couple of them, are trying to send off these. You can see in the in the center, I'm just gonna find it right there in here. It's trying to send off a little seed head. So these guys are kind of sending off some warning signals that they want to get out in the cooler weather. Look, here's another one. So to keep an eye on these, make sure that they're getting really watered. It could also just be that they got a little dry. They're actually a little light now, but lettuce, putting on some good size again. Can't complain when you have fresh lettuce. Alright, we have the ranunculus and the anemones. These guys we need to get these outside. They are going completely insane. So these guys will be, I gotta get them hardened off so that I can plant them. Don't mind my dirty toddler sleeves. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I just don't want them to get too big and, I don't know, be bad, but they look like they're like the perfect size. I don't want them to get too much green growth and then kind of get like shocked. But yeah, I mean, this tray looks fantastic, but definitely needs to get outside. Here is a Rudbeckia tray, along with the larkspur and the delphinium. Yeah, look at these guys. They're all growing together. So we need to get these outside and in the ground. But otherwise, I mean, they look fantastic. They're still nice and happy. This one's green. Here is my consolidated tray. On the end here, we have the Arrangium. Looks good. I actually feel thirsty, especially these couple on the back. So I'll get them watered as soon as I'm done. That random pansy here in the middle still needs to put on a little bit of size, but doesn't look bad. And then all of this bidge. We got pink and then purple. And then the Lisianthus looks, I would say, pretty freaking fantastic. So I'm excited about this. These guys they're just so pretty when they're out there and blooming. But they take a long, long time. Started everything in this the day after Christmas, and you can see just how tiny they are. But they look so happy. So I'm really pleased. We have the eucalyptus over here, all different kinds. So that's exciting. You can kind of see it starting to put on its different, like the different shapes of their leaves. And then the little batch of pansies right here. Overall, this tray looks pretty good. These are my stressed out. What are these? The poppies. These really need to get outside. They're starting to obviously look stressed, and you know what their roots look like. They don't look too terrible, but I don't know. These guys really need to get outside. This is only like 3 plants on that side. It's funny. Okay, well, let's hope that I get some kind of seed heads out of these. This is my second round of herbs. This is another batch of shallots that I had going. You can tell I just kind of popped them all in there. So onion seeds have a really terrible shelf life, and I really hate, most of the packs you buy, even the really small packs, are all like 200 to 250 seeds, and I do not need that many, but I'd rather start them all and just give them away, or hide them in different places in the garden. So I have another set of onions up there and the rest of my shallots. But this tray is primarily the herbs I have going here. So that I have them really densely seeded so I can separate them into other packs in a little bit. But in the back here, so when I try not to waste my soil, so you can see a random onion, 2 random onions in this little cell pack, that when I separated like the shallots and the onions, I just reused the seed or the soil, and you guess there was some onion seeds. So I have some random onions coming up in here. But this is a pack of marjoram. This will be a 6-pack of oregano that I can separate. This is some thyme. Another big batch of the garlic chives going on here. This is parsley. This was on 2/10. As you can remember, the parsley that was 2 days earlier is really just having its birthdays. So let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. So there's somebody having a birthday right there. But at this stage, when it's this tiny, I can't tell if this is an onion seedling that's coming up or if this is the first parsley coming up. But we will find out. And then over here we have a bunch of dill. And then I think this looks like a marjoram seed that is hanging out over here in the dill. But otherwise, this is another nice little herb tray that's getting started. Celery update. You know what's funny in this celery is that freaking looks like a lisianthus. I don't even know where that came from. But there's nothing else that looks like that. So that, let me tell you, that seeds just want to grow. Oh, that's because I reused these. This was that really, really old pelleted lisianthus that never grew. And look at these things. They're freaking coming up. There's one there. We knew about the one that was down in the lemongrass. Actually, I didn't know about the one in the lemongrass. I thought the one that was in the lemongrass was a celery coming up, which is why I moved the lemongrass in here. That's too freaking funny. Oh my god, look, there's another one down there. That's too funny. So they always say how, like, lisianthus is so hard to, you know, get going and blah, 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 blah. And these seeds are literally all over in the random spots in here. That's too funny. I don't even know what I did with the rest of the soil that were in those other things. I just watered these guys. You can tell they looked a little stressed. But yeah, no, I didn't actually see that this was lisianthus that was in here. That's too freaking funny. All right, well, I guess I'll be keeping you guys updated on the lisianthus and the celery. This is the two gingers. Only giving you an update on these guys because I see first signs of ginger life coming out. So that's super exciting. There's a little bit there. And there's one in this tray. There's that little guy right there. So they're waking up. But this is what I told you. This is why I said start that ginger inside. Get it pre-sprouted because it takes for freaking ever. This is that extra onion tray I had told you guys about. You could see how much kind of smaller these little onions are compared to the other ones. They were started, my thought to start them was an entire month after I started the other ones. But they'll still come up and look like onions. Don't know if we'll get as big as the other onions, but that's okay. An onion's an onion. Otherwise, these would just be seeds that would be going bad in my pack up here. Other two trays I have up here, those pansies that I showed you guys, and then this is a bunch of really tiny eucalyptus. I just wanted to see if I can get some more to get started. I think there's 12 in there altogether. But yeah, that's all the seeds I got going on other than my little, I think my plants I have. Doing some, this variegated string of hearts. I have a plumeria back there. That's starting to come to life. Got my Venus, not flytrap. This is a pitcher plant. Separated that guy from him. Back here, just chopped up a bunch of those and have them stuck them back down in there. They're just starting to send off new leaves. And these were my two rescue plants. A couple of proven winners. This, I think, an alocasia, silver something. When I picked this plant up, the leaves were completely white like this, but it was $10. And as you can see, this one was discounted because it was being abused. And it was $5, so you can't say no to a $5 plant that you know you can easily save. And this is a pink princess philodendron. So this is like a $35 plant that I got for $5. So she's happy. She put off this leaf and this new leaf since I've had her. It's probably been about a month. Just hoping that this one puts off. Oh, sorry about that lighting. Another leaf. I'm thinking that's what's happening. See if I can zoom in without the light getting messed up. Like right here, you can kind of see that little bump out. That usually is where the new growth is going to come from. So, keeping my eye on that. But those are my houseplant experiments. Oh, here's that other eucalyptus that was on that tray. Not looking too bad. Definitely putting on a lot of size being in this little cup all by itself, but looks good. And until next time, guys, I will see you in a week. Hopefully with some plants getting hardened off. They will keep you posted.